Hello everyone, and we're in, well, unfortunately we've sort of missed week 40, but we're sort of the very start, we're Monday of week 41. Had quite a lot going on last week, so just didn't have much of a chance to get around to doing a video last week. Usually I do them over the weekend, and I was just working all weekend, so. But anyway, so we're end of week 40, very start of week 41, and just a quick update really. It's going to be very brief this week. So we've done week 39 and week 40 now, so we're start of initiation is well and truly underway. We're starting to notice subtle changes, like the very start of some of the red foliage is slightly red now, and some of the marble varieties, you can now start to see that the stems are like green on top and pink underneath. So we can, we are starting to see changes now really. Again, the only problem that we're now coming across again is we've given our stuff all the space, and now what it's done is it's just, because we're heating some days night and day now, and the problem we're getting is, I don't know, it's not badly, they're not badly stretched, but these are some of the ones at the front which have got more, all the front space, but obviously we're looking at like some of the ones in the middle here, and some of the sides are looking quite stretched now. Now I know by the time they go into a sleeve and all that, and the bloom, the bracts come on the top, it will be all very nice, but really these things need, more, need half as much space again really. So and again we're seeing a very similar thing going on with here already. Everything's growing into each other, we're not even near finish yet. We have taken quite a few of these out actually, so you can see there is space around a lot of them now, but even so, the plants are just massive. We've had to hit them again with growth regulator last week. Same with Leona, but that's it now. We're finished. We can't do any more with that now, otherwise we'll risk making the bracts smaller. But you just see how close everything is together. That's my only concern. There is a bit of space here and there, but not. You look at the plants; they look quite nice. They're not too bad. The odd one looks slightly stretched, but I'm not too upset. There's a Leo and a white there. Again, we've had to take one or two of Aries red. Again, fantastic. That one's had plenty of space, it's alright. But yeah, again, there's one or two of those which we've taken out now, which we're just starting to get a bit too tall. So there is a little bit of space in between these now, but again, not much considering how long we've got left. Again, robin virtually all grown into each other again now. There's various space, but only little bits, very little bits in between now, and hopefully they'll be okay and finish like that, because they've had another growth regulator now. There's the odd one. I'll see if I can find one. I bet you can't find one now whilst I'm looking for it, but there is the odd one with slight bit of redding on the upper foliage now. I don't know if you can, I just spotted one there, I don't know if you can just sort of see it there. Again, it's sort of like a transitional bract, so we are starting to, obviously they have initiated change now. Here's another one here. We are initiating change now, and we'll hopefully start to see some colour on those in the next week or so. Going back up here to Leona, it's okay. It's sort of caught up, sort of hasn't. There's some, very good ones in there, like, if they all look like that, that'd be made up. But yeah, some very good ones there. Massive leaves, sort of a bit of a cluster at this end, which has done quite well. And then there's some smaller, much smaller ones here. And again, in the other house, much smaller. But they'll still make nice plants, even the smaller ones. Marble is fantastic, really well caught up, really good height, much higher than I was expecting them to be actually looking at them a few weeks ago. They were much smaller. These have really grown up, and you can sort of really see the difference now between the marble and the white here. The white is just much, you can sort of see between here and there, the height just drops right down. The white is, but again, a bit of a cluster in the back there, which is done higher. Still not a bad sized plant, but you know, very much smaller than the others. But in the triple pots, however, it is not very small. It's virtually equal sized, but we have gone along and hit the tallest out of those, which is predominantly the red, with extra growth regulator to try and even up the size in those. So now we're looking at Astro. Nice in the 2 litres. There's probably some nicer variants of this in the other house. Not that much of it left in here now. There's only this little clump here. We got the odd bit of this marking going on, but I'm not too upset about that. You know, the overall the plants are nice. Princettia midi hot pink, sort of coming to an end on its growing size now. I think which is pretty much it. So yeah, we're sort of at the full size now, and you can see on virtually all of them now, the Cyathea, I don't know if we can just get that to focus there, the Cyathea here are now setting, so that isn't any more leaves in there now, that is now flowers inside there. So this, what we're looking at here, this is now going to be, and some of these other leaves are now going to be the bract. That is the flowers forming in the centre there, as they are all the way over the plant now, and that is now going to form bracts. So yeah, that's what's going on with those, and it's the same story for all princettias pretty much now. It's most prominent on the midi hot pink, but I don't know if we say, like we see here with the dark pink, you can see them there. You can even see the Cyathea in there, as with that one there. So the dark pink, again, that'll be another 3 or 4 weeks, and that'll be mostly in colour. Pearl, again, you can just about start to see on 1 or 2 them setting, so you can see the top foliage is now starting to go a lighter colour. So again, that's starting to set colour now. And the red, Indian red, has now caught up, and it is still undersized in comparison to everything else, but it's a good saleable size now. You know, in terms of, it's much bigger than the pot. I was worried that the plant was going to be the same size or slightly smaller than the pot, but it's not. It's fine. Lovely plants. Again, just starting to set now. So we've sort of run through everything in here very briefly. There's not much to update other than the only other thing we're struggling with really is temperature, because obviously it's bitter cold outside, but the sun is still catching the tunnels. So what problem we've got now, with no shading, as soon as the sun catches it does warm up in here. But the problem is I don't want to be heating whilst the doors are open. But however, we're getting occasionally slightly too hot, which is causing growth spurts in 1 or 2 things, which is not ideal. I want things to really slow down there. I'll just quickly show you the princettias in the roof. Again, it really has, I wasn't sure quite how this is going to work because they're still virtually pot tight. I'll go to the other side because of the sunshine, but we're still, it was still virtually, if I can get the thing to lighten up, but they're still virtually pot tight, but they've got as much space side to side as they want, and the stuff has, you know, if I try and just pull this one down for you, you know, it's grown around the handles, still got plenty of bracts, and it's a nice shape. It has grown out to the side where it can, and you know, in a sleeve that'll look fantastic. So yeah, that they've worked. They've got more transitional colour on because they're up in the, I don't think you can see it, but they're up in the roof, so they're closer to the they're the first thing that's going to catch the darkness. But yeah, so as I say, the only thing we're just struggling on is really just keeping the temperatures right. Because obviously, if we open this door to let the air in, because obviously it's a polytunnel, it's not a greenhouse, not got a roof fence. If we open this door and the fans are pulling, you know, bit of cold air through, that's all I'm worried about really. Is then it starts marking some of the foliage, because obviously, being a native of Mexico, like a subtropical plant, they don't want British icy cold October wind coming through onto them. So anyway, we'll just quickly look into this house. And this house is heated differently, different sheet, whole different lot of challenges. So obviously in this tunnel, it's not a clear sheet, it's a white sheet, it's a fully diffused sheet. We've not got indirect heating like in the other house, so that's fumes extracted and just dry hot air being blown into the tunnel. We're on 2 propane heaters now because 2 gas bottles, unfortunately. Leave the one down there because it was just not keeping up to keeping this 16-degree temperature. Now we've got 2 in set. We've got, you know, a 17.8, and this is right on the door end, so obviously it's going to get warmer in the middle. 17.8, but the minimum of 15.9. I'll live with that overnight, so 16 degrees. But things in here are looking really good. I'm probably going to be slightly small, but I'm not. So if you look at Leona White in here, it's a, you know, you can see the transitional colours on these. I think now possibly you sort of see bract, transitional bract, leaf. So the colours are much bold, and the plants are much more shorter and bushier, which I quite like. But yeah, I mean, again, this is, well, I'll show you the difference. So I'll take this one. This one is Aries from this house, and this one is one of the Aries moved from, so that's Aries from the other house, Aries from this house. So you can sort of see that growing cooler has kept a much more even canopy of bracts. So you can sort of see all these. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 just tucked under there, which may or may not make it up. Even bracts up to the top. Whereas here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just poking its head round here, and there is a 7th under there, but different heights, much bigger. So this would have much bigger bracts than this, most probably, when it sets. Well, not now, it's moved into here, but this one is much more bushy, compact, even. So I think it is really going to be an interesting comparison as to heated on propane, slightly cooler in here, because obviously we can't keep the temperatures up because the propane, it's just not the same heater. There's sort of, there's only, you know, they're 11 kilowatts each, whereas what we've got heating the other house is 50 kilowatts. So it's 50 kilowatts heating a house just slightly bigger than this, over 22 kilowatts trying to keep it up to the same temperature. It's just not gonna do. The only other problem we've got here is, you can see the water in here, we still haven't got round to that. That is this week's job. We're going to cable tie from each pole all the way along a canopy, which is going to be made of fleece cloth, which is going to go up to these wires, across, and then down on the other side. So any water is going to be caught in the canopy from the roof. So you can sort of, anything you see, there you go, you can see it now. The problem with the propane heating is, you know, for every kilo of gas that's burnt, a litre of water has been expelled into the air. So again, there's a few from the other house which have just been taken out. Some that one's the odd Leona white, and the rest are here are red, just to open up, make a bit more space. Again, princettia, midi hot pink. We hit this end row here with a growth regulator, which I don't know, you can just about tell the difference, but it's not really made that much difference at all. A few of the princettias, which have again just been taken out to make some space in the house. Some of the trio pots, as you can see, because they've been more cool, they've kept a much more compact shape, which I think I prefer, to be honest, but we're running out of space in here now, so we can't can't really start doing any more. We could probably drag the odd few out, but maybe expand into the pathway here a little bit or something, but other than that there's not much more we can do. Some more astro here. I'd say most of the astros in here now, it's just there, and we'll put the top end there. But yeah, as I say, different lot of challenges in here, but the plants are generally looking really good. There's not as much marking on the leaf in here as I'd thought there would have been with the added humidity, but got the fans on the go. It's not as warm a tunnel even in the daytime because it's a diffused cover, and the heating's doing well. So there's the update for this week, and we'll catch up next week. Hopefully be a bit more colour.